Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Turkey, merhaba, and welcome in particular to the 2022 Europe Triathlon Junior Cup in Yenisehir. This location, a new location on the circuit for Turkey, is right down on the far eastern coast. Go to Alanya, turn left, keep going, and there's a place called Mersin. That's the next biggest city. Yenisehir is going to host today the junior races, and then tomorrow we'll be having the elite races. Both events will be over a sprint distance. For this race, the junior women, we have 20 athletes, and that represents 9 different nations. Let's have a quick look. We've got a little bit of time before they start the race. One to watch out for, wearing number 4 there. She's wearing the wetsuit without sleeves. Her hands are up on the top of her swim cap at the moment. Wearing number 4, that's Marti Kropko. She was a good gold medal winner in Turkey last year at the 2021 Europe Triathlon Junior Cup in Balıkesir. Then taking a silver in the 2021 Europe Triathlon Aquathon Championships in Valkse, and then a silver back in Riga 2020. That was a silver medal to her in Riga. She's had 12 podium finishes already. Her last win was a solo effort. That was in Balıkesir. She went off straight from the swim start, all on her own on the swim, all on her own on the bike, all on her own on the run. Picked up an injury last year, so it'll be very interesting to see how she copes with this. I have to give my apologies for my voice. Sadly, after avoiding COVID for 2.5 years, my wife and I both succumbed earlier this week, but we've got enough medication around us and hopefully we can get through the 4 races this weekend. So, Marti Kropko wearing number 4 there. Wearing number 1 is Matilde Silva Santos from Portugal. She was a winner of the gold medal in the junior mixed relay at the 2021 Mixed Relay Club Championships in Alandra. The number 2 there, a gold medal winner in Dnipro last year. Great race, Dnipro. Really fantastic event. And we do hope, of course, at some point in the future we'll be able to get back there. There's a big crowd of athletes from Ukraine, and we've had messages from them. Right, they're on the starters' orders. We'll give you a breakdown of what happens in the swim. The orange vest there of John Petridis, our technical delegate. And next to him in the blue vest is the tallest technical official on the circuit. That's Sasha Kochetkov from Lithuania, and the athletes are in. Hopefully we'll get confirmation from the head referee whether it is a clear start or not. The water is absolutely superb quality. It was just a shade under 20 degrees when they took the measurements an hour before the race. The air temperature in the afternoon is expected to be up in the high 20s. So because the water temperature was below 20, wetsuits are mandatory for these elite athletes. It's a 1-lap course for the swim. That's 750 meters out. They will turn. The first buoy they get to is about 340 meters. And then it's a turn to the left and a turn to the left and back in. And I can see immediately, that's the stroke there. Athlete number 4, Marti Kropko, looking very strong there. Yes, that is the same Kropko you can recognize from Hungary. The great family. Her father was one of the great pioneers in the old days. And her brother, a bit younger than her, he'll be racing in the junior men's race in a couple of hours' time. So she's broken away there at the front. She's got the lead there, about 3 or 4 body lengths. So that first buoy, if you have your watch with you, you can just see how much of a distance she's got over the other athletes. 340 meters up to that first buoy. Behind them, there are some good swimmers in there. I'd watch out for number 8 from Serbia, Lana Gavrilovic. Lana Gavrilovic. She's very strong. She should be 2nd or 3rd out of the water. She was good in the race in Paganella last year. Got the cross triathlon championships, coming out of the water very, very high up, but then suffering a little bit on the bike and the subsequent run. So I would expect to see her in the top 3 coming out of the water. We've also got the reigning national junior duathlon champion from Turkey, Seline Tujekir. She's wearing number 9. She won the championships in Izmir earlier this year, back in February. So watch out for her on the bike. She should be working hard with her teammates. From Ukraine, Sofia Bondarenko wearing number 10. We'll see if we can pick her out as they come out of the water. We also have from Ukraine Anastasia Terentieva wearing number 15. She was a bronze medal winner last year in the race in Dnipro. That race is a little bit similar to this insofar as it's an open water swim, but the conditions of the swim there are completely different. Very good open water river swim with a strong current. A bike course that's flat until it starts getting hilly, then it's really quite technical, and a dead flat run course. What we have here on the coast in Turkey, particular part of the coast, and along to Antalya and Alanya, is a very flat, fast course. The municipality have closed down huge sections of the seafront here, and the main road that runs along the front will be completely closed to the athletes. I had the opportunity of watching the race this morning for the age groupers and the para-athletes, and it was incredible. The whole race was covered by the media team. There's 8 cameras, a couple of drones out there, and we've got a big shout out to the Yenisehir TV and the media at Tolyesi. They're the guys who put all this wonderful production together, and I believe we've heard from the ground that this may well be the first of the Junior European Cups ever to be broadcast live. So once again, well done to Turkish Triathlon for getting this to come together. So Marty Kropko there, coming up to the first turn on the buoy. Is around the buoy clean. They have technical officials out on the water. They've got more technical officials now on the water than you would normally have. This is basically as a response to athletes over the years who've said that sometimes it's a bit rough out there, and so by having more technical officials on the water with cameras and video cameras, they can watch the behaviour. The athletes are warned about this in their race briefing, and if they do misbehave out on the swim, they can expect a penalty or a disqualification. So at the moment, Marty Kropko has taken a lead there. She's got about 20-25 meters lead now. This is a very good lead for her, and we know when she's on form that she can hold that lead on the bike. She can hold the lead and she can hold the run. So long as her injury is well behind her now, we could see quite an exciting performance. There we see the athletes quite strung out. Hopefully they're going to get the right way around that buoy. Yep. At the last minute, the athlete's seen the mistake and has turned to make sure that the buoy is passed with their left shoulder. Now, the water temperature yesterday when they were training, they had the swim familiarisation, was 19.6. We haven't been able to find out from the ground today what the water temperature is. It will be so close to 20 that the decision has been made that wetsuits are being worn today. Clearly, Marty Kropko, by choosing not to wear a sleeved wetsuit, she feels that she can have an advantage. I mentioned at the start we have an international team of officials there. John Petridis, one of the senior officials on the world circuit and in Europe, is the technical delegate. So basically the organisers give him the event, and he, with a team of technical officials, will ensure that the race is run fairly and safely. His head referee, Alexander Kochikov from Lithuania. There's a medical delegate there from the municipality, that's Zukren Kasapoliu. I believe that she's a cardiac surgeon, so that's a fantastic asset to have with you at the race. They have with them a team of technical officials from Turkey, and we also have the very watchful eye of the sports development coordinator for Europe Triathlon, that's Jelko Bijuk, and he's here because this is a major development race. He's also here to represent the executive board of Europe Triathlon because very sadly, and this is a big shout out to the president, Renato Bertrandi. Renato had a fairly spectacular accident trying to cut down a tree at home, and at the moment he has a plaster cast on his leg and he'll be out of action for quite some time. The lead athlete now, Marty Kropko from Hungary, is approaching the Red Bull buoy, and they were advised in the briefing that they could pass the buoy on either the left or the right hand side. Once they've gone past this is the last opportunity for sighting right the way down to the swim exit. When they get down to the swim exit, a very good organisation has put carpeting and a ramp to bring the athletes from the beach, a slight run up to the promenade, a turn right, and then the whole area is carpeted. When you see some of the drone shots from above, you'll see just how much carpet has been put in place to ensure that the athletes don't have to suffer getting their feet snagged on anything. So the journey from the swim exit all the way up to transition is really, really well organised. You'll notice that the canoe is not guiding the athlete, leading the athlete. We've seen that in the old days. No, the canoe is there just to make sure that nothing goes wrong. See, some athletes are choosing to bear to the left, some bearing to the right. Marty has taken an absolutely superb line. The visual aid of the flags and the branding there certainly will help her, but she's been doing this long enough. She knows how to focus and aim for the swim exit. It'll be very interesting to see the splits as they come out. This is a 750-metre swim. Look at that, crystal clear waters. The water quality test that they took last night, I saw this in the athletes briefing. The water quality is absolutely superb. This is a venue we tended not to even think about because everybody went to Alanya, everybody went to Antalya. But look at this, Yenisehir. This could well be the destination for future events. So Marty Kropko loosening off the wetsuit, wearing number 4 from Hungary. The run up the carpet, onto the carpet. Now she's being guided straight the way down into the transition area. Now, all of the equipment goes into the box. They have individual racks, and any equipment that's discarded, any equipment that's been used and discarded could result in a penalty. So this is where the technical officials will be watching. You can see them on the right hand side, keeping out of the way and observing just to make sure that nothing goes wrong. There she goes, a clean transition, runs after the bike. Now, for the mount line, she will leave the transition area, bear to the left, and she'll then go up a very small ramp and onto the road, and the mount line is on the road. She's being chased now. There's quite a few behind her, but they've got a great distance. If the chasing athletes can somehow work together, then there's a chance that they can bridge that gap. If not, then Marty Kropko will be pulling away during the course of this bike segment. The bike course is a 3-lap course. It's very, very flat, very fast, superb surface. Number 5 there from Switzerland, a very, very Dutch name for a Swiss athlete, Naomi van der Kei. There she is. She was about 2nd or 3rd out after Kropko. So the bike course. Again, John Radskelders, I do apologise. John Radskelders, hello to you. I've just been talking to you earlier today, and John Radskelders was the organiser, the president of Powerman. We had the Powerman Championships last year. Lana, this is Pavlovic as well. This is Pavlovic from Serbia. Eva Pavlovic wearing number 3. A good position from her. So John Petridis, the technical delegate. I was talking to him a couple of days ago, and initially they were planning to have a 2-lap bike course. But he said the trouble with a 2-lap bike course is that, sorry, a 4-lap bike course. The problem with having the short laps is that athletes of greater ability and lesser ability, if you have very strong cyclists, they will very quickly catch up those who haven't got the experience or the strength. And clearly what they here in Turkey was a repeat of what we saw in Tokyo, where half of the elite women were just taken off the course because they were lapped. It's really not something we want to see in sport. So by extending the lap just that little bit further, making it 3 laps rather than 4, each lap will be about 6.6 kilometers. It makes it that little bit more safer for the athletes to get the whole way around the course. So good work from John Petridis, working with the municipality and the organisers. just to extend that bike course. And by using the central reservation at the very far end, you've seen that you'll see that the bike course has been safely extended. It's a very clear sweep through. Now, a pair of discarded goggles there. This will be interesting to see. If anybody of the technical officials saw who dropped them, and they can identify the goggles to the athlete, then the athlete will receive a penalty. But if they can't identify who dropped them, then it looks like that will be a penalty that will be forgotten about. You can't guess who the athlete is. You have to know exactly. So you can see now from the drone shots, they will be, whoops, yep, turning left, just there. Rising up, there's a slight ramp at the top of the road. And when they get round, there's a green mark on the ground with an official standing next to it. That is the mount line. The bike course is anti-clockwise. So these two athletes will, if they got some, if they're able to, they'll be able to get together and to try and pull up ahead and try and bridge the gap between some of those athletes in front of them. At the moment though, out on the very, very flat course, the road surface in Yenisehir is extremely good. We saw it this morning for the age group and parrot event. It's a very, very good road surface indeed. There's not the there aren't the sections of blocking or blocks that we had in some of the old Alanya races. So Marti Kropko there on her own. This is exactly what she did in Turkey last year at the Balıkesir event, where she pulled away, and in fact she's up to the turn point already. That's incredible. This is a very, very good performance by her. And we can see now the official just having a bit of a practice ahead of the finish. All of the officials here are volunteers. They've all come from various parts of Turkey to be part of this. Triathlon in Turkey is growing really, really well. It had a huge growth many years ago, and then it tailed off a little bit, I'm afraid. And then there's a bit more organisation came together, and in particular with the arrival of a new, who in fact this morning took part in the age group race. So there we go, Marti Kropko once again. She is at the front of the race, looking strong, powering away. But she's pushing quite a big gear, so I'd like to see, I really would like to see what sort of pace she's pushing there. The junior men will be watching and cheering on. Yes, the president for the Turkish Federation, Mr. Bayram Yalçınkaya, he's now in charge and has shown that as an age grouper, he's not a bad athlete himself. He raced here this morning in the age group category and was then presenting prizes at the award ceremony. But he'll be delighted to see this European Cup, and in particular the Junior European Cup, being broadcast live around Europe. If the cameras can hopefully get back to the chasing group. And it looks like three of them have got together and will hopefully be sharing the effort to try and catch up with Marti Kropko. They will have to work very hard together, because the lead that she's created already is for them quite a dangerous lead. She's very strong. We know that she can run off the bike, and providing that injury from last year has been properly sorted out, we should be seeing Marti Kropko certainly on the podium. The overhead shot clearly showing that the three athletes are working together. You can see there's a rotation as they take turns of being at the front. If they can keep that on as three athletes working together, they should be able to move faster than one solo athlete. We've seen this at some of the WTS events. You might have seen, for example, Alistair Brownlee in the pack shouting at people to work. That's because in a group like this, a peloton will move so much faster, but it needs someone within that peloton to motivate them. If not, it's just a parade, and you see then that any possibility of catching the leader has gone. So if we can pick out who they are in that chase group, we might actually see whether there's an opportunity for them. Let's have a quick look down through the other athletes. We had the gold medal winner from the 2021 Dnipro race. She's wearing number 2. That's from Romania, Delia Oana Dudau. We have also from Romania, Ariana Roxana Kis. We have some athletes from Kazakhstan, Kafiza Gultarayeva. We also have from Portugal, we saw some of the Portuguese athletes earlier, Beatriz Pinto, she's there. From Moldova, we have Anna Kolkova. Again from Portugal, Catarina Mutino. And the final list of athletes from Ukraine, we have the runner-up in the 2021 National Championships in Kiev on the course that was used as a European Cup a few years ago. That's Alexandra Zarovna, wearing number 18, and number 19, Maria Robier. Daria Berezhna, also from Ukraine. Now, the large group here, you can see how fast they're moving. You can pick out the Ukrainian uniform there, the fantastic blue and gold. But the Turkish athletes there are really working well. I wonder if that's going to be the national junior champion. That could be, if we can pick out the number. If that's number 14, then that would be Özlem İpek Günad, because she was the national junior champion last year and runner-up in the duathlon championships this year. So if we can just pick out that number, I can't quite see from my monitor how that number is. But here they go. The athletes will be heading east on the course. Oh, here we go. Excellent. Just what we need there. So as you can see from that, the group is actually pretty tight on the chasing group, but that good swim there from Marty Kropko has put her into a good position there. As the athletes come back towards the swim exit, they'll be making a sharp right-hand turn, which will take them away from the course, away from the sea, and then a U-turn to bring them back. And that's just a little bit of a change in the direction for the bike. Adds a bit of disruption into it, makes it a little bit more technical. Will also give the opportunity to some of the stronger cyclists, if they want to try and break away. And here they are at the far end now. This is the far end of the course. They're now back onto the seaside. All of these roads have been closed. The municipality have been so good in cooperating with the organisers. At each end, we have a very strong police presence to prevent any vehicles getting onto there. The municipality have been fantastic. My mistake. That was the U-turn at the on the course. They're now back heading west before they reach the final turn and then head back along the coast. But it looks like Martin Kropko has already negotiated that section. There, wearing number 9, we saw Kir from Turkey, the reigning national junior duathlon champion. Her bike skills will be coming to the fore now, but leading the group there, leading that particular peloton, is one of our several Ukrainian athletes. I can't see the numbers, unfortunately, which is a bit of a shame, but if the cameras get a bit closer, we'll give you an update as to which one is where. So 3 laps on the bike. When they finish the They have a little bit of a section to bring them back down into the transition area. And the run course is also along the seafront. It's going to be run clockwise. And the unique way they've put this course together, the run course and bike course are completely separate. So there's never going to be the problem of first runner, last biker, which is something that we do see in quite a few events. They have the space here, and they have the cooperation of the municipality to really put the event together as they want it. And as a development race, it's so important. We do want to see as many of the athletes finish as possible. I mentioned earlier about Željko Bižuk, the development coordinator from Europe Triathlon. Over the years, Željko has been focusing not just on the athletes, but on the technical officials and on education and development across the board. But for him, this is an early season opportunity to see how many athletes have potential, and then to focus with the coaches from those athletes and those federations, and to bring them into some of the development camps that will be held throughout Europe this year. Every year, World Triathlon gives a sizable sum of money to Europe Triathlon, and that's used specifically for the development of the younger athletes and from some of the smaller emerging nations. Each year as well, they have a meeting when the federations will come forwards and present their proposals as to how they're going to manage their training programs. Support is given to them by Europe Triathlon Executive Board, and then more importantly, Željko and his team will oversee the training and coaching across Europe of all of the athletes on this development program. Well, we've got 8 cameras out there on the course. We've got a couple of drones up in the air, and we can now see that this is the chase group of this is the 4, the chasing group of 4, no, 5, or 6. Well, good to see the camera work moving in there. It'd be interesting if we could find out from the ground whether or not the lead that Marti Kropko has is staying the same, or whether she's increasing that lead. It's a lonely place for any athlete to be out there. You don't see this very often at this level of racing. It's only once or twice a year you might see an athlete brave enough and strong enough to pull away and to do something like this, but she did exactly the same in Balıkesir last year. That was a good event. It was a canal swim, very, very straight swim, very easy to manage, and then a very good bike course and a run course, but she did exactly the same there. For the Ukrainian athletes, many of them have been on a long and, as we now know, extended training camp in Alanya. So they've moved just down the coast here to this race. We've just got an update there that the weather temperature is 19 degrees. Really? That's a bit cold. It will be warming up in the afternoon with wind that's traveling at southeast. So it's they're going to be traveling. They're heading into the wind each time they go towards the far turn point. They're traveling a little bit into the wind. And by cycling into the wind, of course, that makes it that much more complicated and that much more difficult for the solo rider. So she's trying to get down as aerodynamically as possible there. But this group chasing, they do need to be a bit more organized. At the moment, there's simply not, there's not the cooperation between them. And they're quite widely spread out, so they're not getting the real benefit. The program for this weekend, we've had the age group and we've had the para races this morning. Today we've got the junior women, as you can see. The junior men will be starting at 16:30 local time. For those of you watching in Europe, Turkey is currently 2 hours ahead of us, or 1 hour ahead if you are in Central European time. And then tomorrow we have the elite races, starting off with the elite women and the elite men at exactly the same time. The award ceremonies this evening will be at 1800 hours local time, and tomorrow 1800 hours for the elite. So long, strung out group there of 8 athletes. We've got Portugal in there, the 2 Portuguese athletes, Ukraine, Turkey. Now from the mind, it must be going through their minds that they've probably convinced themselves now that Marti Kropko, who is the most experienced athlete on the start line, they're probably thinking, well, she's got the gold. There's only 2 medals left now. That's a silver and a bronze. Can you imagine what's going through their minds? These are young athletes. These are just starting their international career. Some of them, the ages, they're very, very young. But then to have that knowledge that we're a group of 8 and there's only 2 medals left. I can't make a mistake in transition. I've got to have the best run of the year to try and get onto the podium. I'm wearing my national uniform and I'm here representing my country. What an incredible amount of pressure that is for them. And with the Turkish athletes, knowing that you're a national triathlon champion or a national duathlon champion, and that the crowds will be shouting and cheering for you, that adds even more pressure. And you can see that on the way back now, you can see with the wind behind them that the pace is a lot faster. So that journey out to the far turn, on the outwards section, you know, that's quite a grind for a group of athletes and more so for a single athlete. Last year at the Balıkesir race, we were having a bit of fun, shall we say, when Marti had such a fantastic race and set such a standard. We said that her brother had now something to live up to. Well, it developed into an even more exciting race with him, because with a young Russian athlete, the 2 of them broke away at the start of the swim. They both then pulled away and worked really well together on the bike. And it ended up with the Russian coming across first, with Martin Kropko coming across second. So he was unable to get the gold and match his sister, but nevertheless the Kropko family went home very, very happy with 2 medals. And it was good to see that all the work that he'd been putting in was finally paying off. So there we see Marti Kropko still at the front, looking so strong. One of the long shots we need now is to see just how far away the chasing athletes are. So this is the inward turn point. This is about, from memory, it's about 2/3 of the way along the bike course. The chasing group will then continue westwards, then do a U-turn before they start on their easterly journey again. There they are, back onto the front. This is continuing westwards. We've just had an announcement from the media team. This is the Yenisehir TV and media Atölyesi. You might notice that when the drone is overhead, that the birds are following the drone. We saw this with the age group race. It's wonderful. I'm not sure which ones they are, but from when I lived in Istanbul many years ago, the sounds of the swifts, they were everywhere, and they would swarm in the air. But you'll see every so often some of the drone shots. They're accompanied by birds. So our race it's not just about triathlon, of course. We'd like to encourage you, if you are interested, to make a journey down to Yenisehir. You can fly into one of the local airports. The choice of hotels there, amazing. When you look at the water temperature, it's nearly 20 degrees. And what are we, the 16th of April? You know that you got good hotels down there. The air temperature yesterday was 26 and something. And the Turkish welcome, if you've been out to any of the races in Turkey, you'll notice how good it is. And having watched the age group race this morning, they're using exactly the same course. I don't know what the entry fee is, but here's a suggestion. Look at the schedule, look at the program, the calendar for all of the European races around the European Cups and Junior European Cups. The organisers very often will have their own open race for the age groupers, an open race, and you get to use the same course. So build a holiday around it and then go and cheer the elite and the juniors. And then you might get the chance to see some astonishing performance like this from Marty Kropko. So there, the chasing group have just gone past the mountain line, and they're now on that long drag into the wind towards the turn point. The bulk of the bike course is now completed. What a fantastic view. Look at those palm trees. Oh. For those who've raced, let's turn back the clock a few years to perhaps the European Championships we had in Alanya. Alanya has been on the calendar for, well, it's one of the oldest races in Europe, one of the oldest in the world. And the reception that the athletes have traditionally got in Alanya has been second to none. Well, last night, for the athletes and the organisers and the volunteers, there was an opening banquet, which was apparently pretty impressive. And the welcome you get in Turkey, we've always found it to be extremely good. The enthusiasm and the determination from the technical officials to make it work and from the organisers is something that's always good to see. And it's so nice to be able to come back to Turkey now and to have this race being put together, a new one on the calendar, as we said at the start, and hopefully one that will stay for a good few years. Look at the fantastic quality of the roads. We've seen the sea, beautiful, clean, safe, and the fact that the municipality is so ready to work with the organisers and to work with Europe Triathlon to make sure that the roads are closed and that the event is safe and fair for everybody. Now, I think that might be number 12 there, Beatriz Pinto from Portugal, leading the pack. And just behind her, I think that was Matilde Santos. And of the two Romanian athletes, I think it's more likely that that was our athlete wearing number 2 there, Delia Oana Dudu, who was the gold medal winner back in Dnipro last year. So Turkish Triathlon Federation, they had a whole calendar of races, and their duathlon championships took place this year in Izmir. That was in February. Very well attended, very well organised, and that's where Selinay Tücekir, wearing number 9, she took the title. So it will be interesting to see her turn of pace when she comes off the bike, and whether she can replicate that power and to bring herself up into top 5, perhaps even into the top 3. And there we see a bit of an attack there. You can see amongst that chasing group, the realization must be coming home now that something needs to be done, because of 8, there's only 2 more medals, and if they can break away and create some distance now, it might not be too late. "38 minutes on the clock." Now, I know that over the winter months, Marty Krocko has been putting in a lot of riding. I'll be very interested to see her bike split after this, because a solo effort like this is a pure piece of cycling. There's no question of her getting benefit from someone else by sitting in a group and enjoying the draft. She's doing all of this on her own. This is going to be a really, really good indicator for her coaching team. And there's a coaching area in the central reservation just after the mountain line. Here she goes. She's turning to her right. That takes her away from the seafront. Then there'll be a U-turn at the top of that road back onto the seafront, and very soon we'll see her loosening her shoes, ready for the transition from bike to run. That group of 8 behind her, still together. The attacks we saw from the Romanian athlete didn't come off. Oh no, we got one down. Oh no. Oh, that was either a kiss on the wheel or oh dear. This is something we really don't want to see. If we get any news from the course, we'll update you, of course, just to let you know that the athlete's okay. That just looked as if it was possibly a kiss on the wheel or a skid. Something happened there that took her down. Back to the front, Marty Krocko has now loosened her shoes, so she's be able to move her feet around a bit just to loosen off, shake out the bike kilometers, and she'll be ready to dismount on the road. They then run about 60 meters along the carpet back into transition. Here she goes, that final turn. As you can see, the traffic management in the city, they've shut off a huge section of road, but they've managed the traffic and everybody's quite happy with it. This is a very good bit of cooperation between the municipality and the organisers. So not easing up at all, she's just going to push it a little bit harder, take some fluids on board, ready for the run. Both feet are now out of the shoes, she's ready for the dismount. Soon we'll see her just bearing to the right a little bit as she finds the dismount line. There will be cameras on the dismount line and a technical official to make sure that she dismounts before the dismount line, not on it, not after it, but for it. Our group of 8 now down to 7. Krocko now onto the blue carpet. running right the way down. Position number 4. She'll rack the bike. She can rack the bike either with the front wheel or the rear wheel. These are individual racks. It's her choice. Once she's done that, then she can loosen the helmet into the box, shoes on, and off she'll go. Portuguese athletes edging to the front there, and also taking on fluids ahead of the final 5k run. Don't forget the 5k run is a 2-lap clockwise course with a final run to take them around the outside of the transition area and down to the finish area. So these athletes in the chase group now heading away from the sea front and then up to the dead turn. They'll come back down here, the camera moving down there just to pick them up as they come through. A great position there for coaches and for spectators in that central bit of island. Oops, police not too happy with that. That's John Petridis, our technical delegate. In fact, John Petridis, bit of history there. He was the first organizer ever to host an event for a young man called Alex Yee. Alex Yee grew up in southeast London, and it was John Petridis who spotted his talent, gave him the support and encouragement. So there you go, John Petridis, first organizer ever to have Alex Yee on his start list. So the chasing group are now heading down towards that final turn, and they, once they've looped around, well, they can see that's the group that's chasing the chasing group. Now that's a good performance from Lana Gavrilovic from Serbia. That is very good for her. She's kept in that group. Now, what she needs to do is to translate that performance into a good run. So it looks like our camera team are following the main group, but before that, I did think I saw a group of about 4 athletes just behind Kropko. But here she goes, a very fast turnover. The feet, she's not lifting her feet very high at all. Very economical stride there. The run course, as you can see, is a beautifully flat, clearly marked out course. Take her along the seafront. There are aid stations out on the course for fluids, and you can access this on the way out or the way in. You can see that she's carrying something in her hand there. Athletes are no longer allowed to litter. We didn't encourage it at all, but the rules are very, very precise now. There are littering areas. As you come towards an aid station, there's 20 meters where you can discard stuff, and then afterwards about 60 meters. If you discard anything outside of that area, you can expect a penalty because there'll be cameras all around the course. Here comes our chasing group now. So all my speculation about these 8 athletes wondering whether they're going to get 2 more medals. Let's move that forwards to the group that we're chasing. So any athlete discarding materials such as gel wrappers or anything, they can expect a penalty. For this race, it will be a 10-second penalty because it's a sprint race. Last weekend, for example, we had the Powerman European Duathlon Middle Distance Championships. We had athletes crossing the finish line, 10k, 60k, 10k, and when they crossed the finish line, there was a bin, and they were removing gel wrappers from their uniforms and placing it in the bin. That's exactly the message we want to have. That's exactly what we want to see. We don't want litter everywhere because then the organisers will have a difficulty with the municipality, and they won't necessarily welcome us back. Here we see Marty Kropko. Very good, easy run pace there. My goodness, she's got quite a considerable lead. Dudo was actually a lot further back than we thought. There she goes, wearing number 2, not being able to replicate the performance she had last year in Dnipro. And that was Duda with, I think, Kiss, number 2 and number 21. Now at the turn point, we'll hopefully be able to see just how far ahead Kropko has managed to pull away and who is going to be chasing her. As you can see, a wonderful layout here for the organisers with the run course along the edge of the sea there. She's made the first turn. Any penalties that they do pick up, there's a penalty box which is about 40 meters before the end of the lap. As the athletes come towards that penalty box, there's a large white board, and it will show the number they have, their race number, and any penalty that they have. There's a letter code. So if it's a mount violation, it'll be M. If it's a dismount violation, it'll be D. If there's equipment that's been discarded, then it'll be an E. Anything like that will be up on the board, and they can see that. They can serve the penalty on any one of the laps, but if they choose to ignore the penalty and they cross the finish line, they'll be disqualified. At that point, if they feel they want to challenge the decision, then of course they can. So look at that, 32:29 was the clock time for Marti Kropko. She's got a minute's lead over Naomi van der Kay from Switzerland, and as we thought there, Matilde Silva Santos from Portugal. But that group behind her, Matilde Silva Santos, Gavrilovic and Quaresma from Portugal, they are the ones with, actually, yeah, Kür from Turkey. That could be quite a challenge. So Matilde Silva Santos performed really well last year in Alanda in the team mixed relay, but this is going to be, if she can hold on to that position and get a podium today, this will be a great opportunity for her to say, I've started my solo career properly here, and this will be a good one for me. Vorobier from Ukraine wearing number 19, just entering the transition area. But tucked into that chasing group there, I said we should watch out for her because Celine Tuche-Kur, the reigning national duathlon champion, she can run off the bike. So whether she's got the strength there and the conviction to be able to pull up and keep that pace, it'll be very interesting to see. Naomi van der Kay from Switzerland. And that's going to be a battle between the Swiss and the Portuguese athletes, I think. Meanwhile, Marti Kropko, quite relaxed there on the return leg. She'll be looking at all of the athletes as she goes past them, just seeing what they look like in their face, what their body's looking like, whether they're looking fatigued. She'll be taking all of this in, and she'll be then be able to work out whether she needs to maintain her pace or up the pace, or whether she can relax a little bit. Air temperature's rising out there at the moment in Yenisehir. So it's going to be a little bit warmer for the junior men, who'll be starting in about an hour and a half's time. For the junior men, we've got 38 athletes racing with 14 nationalities being represented. So that shaded area there, I'm pretty sure that is the penalty box. So we can expect to see Marti Kropko coming to the turn very soon. There we go. That green area you can see on the camera now, that's the turn point from the run. So when she comes back again, she will be going to the right-hand side of the screen and coming around the back of the transition area. Under the Red Bull arch, she'll go, and then it will take her straight the way down towards the finish. That's quite a course, really. When you look at the straight, flat, it's quite tough for the athletes because they're running into the wind. It's a long way ahead of them. They can see the athletes. Never give up. That's the big message that the Turkish Federation and Yenisehir have been putting out over the weekend. Never give up. And I think for Marty Kropko, the mantra has not been never give up, but never let up. Since the moment that the start signal was given, she moved to the front in the swim, chose to wear a sleeveless wetsuit, greater mobility through the water. Here we have Romanian athlete Delia Oana Dudal, number 2. I think she's the one in second place at the moment. Tretieva there from Ukraine, following Santos from Portugal. Romania, of course, is also showing signs of rapid growth with triathlon. There was a great loss to the triathlon world with Peter Klosch leaving us a few years ago. A great tragedy indeed. But since then, the federation has tightened up, it's got together, and the legacy that was created by Peter Klosch has continued. In fact, this year, there's going to be the World Cross Championships held in Târgu-Mureș, with a number of the events taking place there, and some of them taking place in Hungary. So that will be an opportunity. If you're going there, Târgu-Mureș is absolutely fantastic. You'll love the atmosphere there, and you can say your own thank you to Peter and the team. And I'm sure they'll be delighted to see their number 2 athlete there, athlete wearing number 2. That's Delia Oana Dudal, looking as if she's in second place. We just had a brief glimpse there of the Kazakhstan athlete Kafisa Gultarayeva. We'll try and pick out her position a little bit later on.
So that means all athletes are running right now. What I can say absolutely the first place, still number 4, Hungary is holding the first place.
Kropko's pace has not changed. The low foot recovery is still there. The high tempo is still there. She's going out on the blue, back on the white. She'll be in a position now. She's seen all of the athletes. She's identified where the threats are, and she'll now be making her final turn very soon and heading back towards the finish. With our Ukrainian athletes, we saw the triathlon community get together at La Nucia in Spain recently. That's where they had the President's Conference, and unified. The triathlon community got together, the whole triathlon community got together to support the Ukrainian athletes, who were represented by Roman Karol and some of the other team members. They are all based in Alanya and southern Turkey, enjoying the opportunity of training. So the federations who won various prizes donated their prize money to the athletes so that they could continue to train and continue to pay for their accommodation there. So it's good to see so many of them now moving eastwards along the coast for this race. But Kropko is now making her way back towards the main race venue, the transition area, and then just beyond that, the finish gantry. We know that in second place it's the Romanian athlete Delia Oana Dudau. I'm wondering whether that athlete from Ukraine is possibly in third place. If that's number 15, Anastasia Terentieva. She was the national junior champion last year in Kiev. She was a bronze medal winner in Dnipro in the junior race last year. And if the camera is focusing on her because she's in third place, this again is going to be a great performance from her. As you can see, the water quality there is crystal clear waters just off the coast. Beautiful sandy beaches. I think Yenisehir is going to have to be on our wish list to go and visit. A welcome little bit of shade there underneath the trees. Well, it looks quite long and torturous, doesn't it? That long line. It may only be 5 kilometers, but in the heat and the fact that it's dead flat, it must be quite a psychological journey. Athletes. Picking out there, Matilda Silva Santos, wearing number 1. Now, is she going to be the second place? It really would be nice to try and find out the positions. But the position we do know a lot about at the moment is the one that's at the front. Marti Kropko from Hungary. This is really looking like a great performance. At the start, we introduced her by saying that she was a gold medal winner in Balıkesir in Turkey last year with a solo performance from start to finish. She led the race. She then went on to win a silver medal in the juniors at the European Aquathon Championships in Valse, having won a silver in Riga at the European Junior Cup. Only a young athlete, but she's had 12 podium finishes. Right, so we now have confirmation that Matilda is in second place. Matilda Silva Santos from Portugal. And that's a really big shout out to Felipe. Thank you for giving me that update, because Felipe, one of the great photographers from Portugal who we've used quite a few times on our events. Thank you, Felipe. Matilda Silva Santos in second place. So we're just trying to get a bit of an update from the studio, but we're going to focus on this finish. Marty Kropko, Hungary, taking the gold. An absolutely stunning solo performance. Marty Kropko adds another gold medal to her collection. This was really a brave race from her. From the very start, moved to the front and didn't look back. Much needed water going on there. I'm sure we're going to hear a few words from her, either directly from the race or from her social media feed, because she's very active on social media. And after this, what a performance, an absolutely superb performance. Solo effort there on the swim, the bike and the run. In particular, that bike split. To do that bike split on your own with the quite strong winds, yeah, that's a very good performance from Marty Kropko. But silver medal at the moment is looking as if it's going to be going to Portugal, to Matilde Silva Santos. She's absolutely flying, says Felipe Pereira. Absolutely flying. And she is. For her now, onto the carpet. There she goes, silver medal to Portugal and to Santos. Congratulations, celebrations. Now, who is going to get the final medal for the podium? Who is going to get the bronze? Could it be two Portuguese athletes taking the medals on the podium? A nice, easy running style there. So could this be Pinto or could it be Mutino? Catarina Mutino wearing number 17, or could it be Beatriz Pinto wearing 12? Moving to the shortest line towards the finish. Or could it be Luana Quaresma? I think this is actually going to be number 6, Luana Quaresma. She was in that group of 4. Quick look over the shoulder. No, it's going to be our Swiss athlete, Naomi van der Kay. So, ladies and gentlemen, your podium for the junior women's race is Hungary in gold medal position, Portugal in silver, and Switzerland in bronze. I'm not sure interviews for the finish line. And a 4th place there for Ukraine. Let's have a quick look and see who that was. And Lana Gavrilovic chasing down Pavlovic, the two of them together. Oof. This is a good finish from her. Nope. This is not Gavrilovic. I'm mistaken again, I do apologise. And the first of our Turkish athletes crossing the finish line now was the reigning national junior duathlon champion, Kür. So the officials are trying to get the athletes out of the sunshine into the shade as quickly as possible. There's a huge recovery area for them just to the left of the picture, where they can get in the shade and get all the refreshments and food they might need. A top 10 position there for her. So this is Delia Oana Dudal, number 2. She will be crossing in, I think that's about 10th place. Gavrilovic and Pavlovic from Serbia both finished. Good performances from them, putting them quite high in the rankings. That's the photograph, the podium, gold, silver and bronze. Big shout out to Try247 and to John, reminding me that not only is Peter Kropko a legend in triathlon, he's also a Hawaii legend. The man really has raised the profile of triathlon in Hungary to a fantastic level. It is a dynasty, and it's nice to see that the two children, Marti and Marton, are both on that legend and carrying on the legacy. So our podium there, Hungary, Portugal and Switzerland. The women's race is pretty much finished now, and later on this afternoon, 16:30 is the start time, 16:30 local time is the start time for the junior men's race. It will be as exciting as this. Whether we're going to have a breakaway, I don't know, but looking at the start list for the men, I think we've got a greater mix of talent. Good to see there. The Ukrainian flag flown high as it comes down to the finish area. Daria Berezhna, wearing number 20 onto the blue carpet. That's going to be a photograph for her athletes and family at home. Here's a quick story for you. One of the legends of Ukrainian triathlon, Alexei Syutkin, he's now coaching, having taken a little bit of a step back from racing. His young family and he were out in Spain at coaching camp. He heard what had happened and immediately decided to go back. So Alexei Syutkin is now in Ukraine, in uniform. His wife and children are safe in Spain. And on a personal note, I'd like to wish all of the athletes from Ukraine the very safest of journeys around Europe. And for your families and friends back home, I hope the best things happen for them. I cross my fingers. I hope and I pray for them. Women's race coming to an end. Never give up, it says. We'll have a full list of the results. We had some problems at the very start of the broadcast with the fact that neither of the Europe Triathlon or World Triathlon pages were working. So whether or not the results can go up onto that portal, we don't know. They're working on it. There's a glitch in the system somewhere. It doesn't look good at the moment for World Triathlon, and it doesn't look good for Europe Triathlon because both of those pages are out. However, the Yenisehir Facebook page, you can go to Triathlon Yenisehir. That's triathlon, as you'd spell it, and then the name of the event. Just type that in, and you'll be taken directly to the event Facebook page, and hopefully they'll be putting up the results onto that page in the absence of the World Triathlon, Europe Triathlon pages working. We're not entirely sure what's happened there, but we have got still the opportunity to give you everything that we can to update you with the race. So that's Triathlon Yenisehir Facebook page. Everything's there for you. That's Catarina Moutinho from Portugal, now completed that race. Looking quite relaxed and also quite hot. Okay, it looks like we've both the World Triathlon and the Europe Triathlon pages are back up and running, so that's good news. We just heard that's been confirmed by the Vice President of Europe Triathlon, Chris Kitchen. The earlier problems we've had have been sorted out and the pages are now working again. So there we go, the overall results. Look at the timings there. A clear minutes win for Marta Kropko. And some good performances there for the Ukrainian athletes in 4th place, just missing the podium. Romania, Serbia and Turkey in the top 10. We're just waiting for one of the athletes to cross the finish line. At the bottom there from Ukraine, but yeah, that outstanding time from Marta Kropko. 9:03 for the swim. I'm sure that's a graphic that we'd like to see on the Triathlon Yenisehir page. So for the men's race, exactly the same course. 1 lap on the swim, 3 laps on the bike, 2 laps on the run. 38 athletes from 14 nations. We've got athletes from Kazakhstan, we've got athletes from Turkey, of course, from Ukraine, from Romania, from Slovenia, Moldova, Poland, Bulgaria, Portugal, Latvia, Croatia, Denmark, and of course from Hungary. And there's every likelihood that we'll have a Portuguese athlete on the podium, because wearing number 1 in the junior men's race is João Nuno Batista, who won the silver medal at the 2021 World Triathlon Junior Championships that took place in Quarteira. He is very much on form, but he will have with him Martin Kropko from Hungary, who was the silver medal winner in Balıkesir last year. So we can expect to see some very tight racing at the front end of the race, at the front end of the competition. Making our way now onto the blue carpet. About 60 meters to go now. This is Anastasia Terentieva. Not quite able to reproduce the form she had last year. So a big thank you once again to our media team. That's Yenisehir TV and Media Atölyesi. They've done a great job for us today for the juniors. The age group race this morning, it was fantastic to see the age groupers out on the course with a full camera team going around them with the drones up ahead, as well for the para athletes. They then covered the awards ceremony, and we'll be seeing the awards, the medal ceremony for the junior women and junior men at 1800 hours local time today.
Böyle bir sonucu sporcuyu beklerken saat 16.30'da start alacak. Junior erkeklerde değişim alanına girmeye başladılar.
So the results, the timing team are using the electronic chips, so they'll be checked by the head referee. That's as if by magic. The head referee just walking into view there. That's Sasha Kochikov from Lithuania. He will be double checking all the results to make sure that there are no anomalies. As soon as he has signed off those results, they will be published officially onto the triathlon.org page, and we will then see them available in their confirmed format on the World Triathlon and Europe Triathlon pages for you to see all of the timing splits. There was a group of technical officials and volunteers who would have had basically a clipboard with them, and they will be doing a manual backup timing. So if there's any problem with the timing chip, what they do is they keep a manual record of all of the athletes crossing the finish line or coming out of the swim, coming off the bike, coming into the run, and they will then put that data together to make sure that the athletes have a correct set of timing. We've got one athlete still out on the course wearing number 11, and that is Kafiza Gulturayeva from Kazakhstan. And there we have her. She's just got a short journey to go before she goes onto the blue carpet. There she is. There'll be a bit of a dog leg around the transition area and onto the final 60 meters or so of run down to the finish line. A really nicely designed course here. The flows really work well, and the cooperation that John Petridis has had from the organisers has been tremendous. So there we have our last athlete across the finish line from Kazakhstan. That's all of our 20 junior women safely across the finish line. Now hopefully getting into the shade and getting some opportunity to cool down, get some fluids on board. And they no doubt will be out very soon cheering on their junior men teammates. So there we are. If we'd like to try and keep that as a graphic, then we can see all of the results. That's a fantastic piece of information for us all. Martin Kropko wins the race with Matilde Silva Santos in second place from Portugal. Switzerland's Naomi von der Kraai is in third place. Then you have a drop back to Sofia Bondarenko from Ukraine, Alice Bergiol from Romania, Eva Pavlovic from Serbia, a good performance from her, just ahead there of the athlete from Turkey, Selinay Tucukür, and Lana Gavrilovic. That's a good result from her top 10 finish. A good spread of athletes there: Hungary, Portugal, Switzerland, Ukraine, Romania, Serbia, Turkey. Good to see the mix of nationalities onto the top 5, top 10. And of course, for Željko Bijuk, the Sports Development Coordinator for Europe Triathlon, this is fantastic. He's there to see the race from a development point of view, but he's also there to represent the executive board. So for him, the opportunity of seeing these athletes coming together so early in the season, and with an eye to looking towards Alston, where the European Championships will take place, this is really, really good. We've just got an update that we're going to have an interview from one of the athletes. That's the studio saying we're going to have an interview. So fingers crossed, we'll go down to the field of play and hopefully we'll hear from one of the athletes. Well, we just had a very quick phone call into us from John Petridis, the technical delegate, who was commenting on how wonderfully well the race went so far. We did have a penalty. The young Kazakhstan athlete had 2 time penalties. One was for equipment and one was for the dismount line. So she had 20 seconds to serve at the penalty box. What a shame for her. But I'm sure her coach will look at this and the lessons will be learnt from this race, that they need to focus on those 2 small areas of equipment going into the box and onto the dismount area. But from John down on the course, he said the atmosphere here was brilliant. It really was. The way that the event has been filmed by the Yenisehir TV and media at Olesi, the way that they've delivered this, he said has been remarkable. So they're all getting ready now for the next race, which will be the junior men's race. We've just been notified that the interview we'd hoped to do on the finish line is not going to take place. The athletes need to go away and get rehydrated. It's been a tough race for them. So hopefully the interviews will take place and be broadcast or videoed and put onto the Yenisehir Facebook page. So from me, from Paul Groves with a creaky voice, wishing I was down in Turkey at the moment because it looks fantastic. I wish you a farewell for the moment, and don't forget, come back for the men's race, which will be taking place at 16:30. That's Turkish time, 2:30 UK time, or 3:30 European time. So we'll see you soon.